winning their round 2 winner bracket best of 5, FlyQuest was the first team in North America to qualify for Worlds, and they did so in fairly convincing fashion, beating Cloud9 3-1. This was considered an upset for many, as Cloud9 were considered favorites, while FlyQuest had just come off of a very close best of 5 win against Evil Geniuses in the previous round. To defeat Cloud9, FlyQuest grabbed early leads in games 1 and 3 with well thought out level 1 plans. For game 1, FlyQuest started with an invade on topside. They blew Flash on Thresh, and they expended Chantant, which forced Blabber to start Spell Shield on Nocturne to survive. This to me seemed like something that FlyQuest scouted based on C9's level 1 tendencies in previous matches, so I went to check. In other matches in the second half of the split that C9 played on blue side, they had similar setups with a defensive line of scrimmage. Usually, a line of scrimmage is what you'll see teams do in a lot of matches. Champions will spread out and cover multiple entrances of the map, and if one team decides to invade, you're able to spot it and react, usually by moving up your own champions on the other side of the map to drop vision in the enemy jungle, as you know there'll be little to no resistance. But anyways, going back to C9, they showed a very similar setup against Golden Guardians in week 8, Team Liquid in week 7, and even against FlyQuest themselves in week 6. And it's also possible they've also done this in scrims, which would increase the sample size and make this pattern even easier to find. There are specific points about this line of scrimmage that make this exploitable. Let's break it down. Blabber will usually either stand on the top pixel brush and then recall to change trinket or drop a ward before moving back to his jungle. Licorice stands in the jungle entrance or the river, and the other 3 members cover the bot side entrances. The big issue with this setup is that nobody sits in the mid lane. With nobody there, enemy players can cross from bot to top without being spotted if they decide to transition from a line of scrimmage to a late invade, for example. In C9 vs TL, after spotting no invades and with Jensen not seeing anyone in mid, CoreJJ crosses over to the top side. In this case, the strategy ends up not working as Blabber had already left and placed a ward, so C9 saw this coming. In the week 6 match, FlyQuest attempted a top lane brush collapse, but Licorice wasn't there as he was placed further back in the jungle. For their playoffs match, Licorice was in the exact same spot, which means he won't spot movement in the river. So, back to the playoff match. After the invade on topside, Solo places a ward at the enemy blue buff, and the rest of the team invades the Raptors at level 1. You might have seen a similar invade like this in other regions, or just Lilias having high priority on clearing both their own and also enemy Raptors. This is due to her strong AoE damage paired with Hunter's Talisman. Once she hits Q on the Raptors, she will start regenning from all 6 Raptors, and Dream Dust will extend the duration of the healing as the dot constantly reapplies damage. This allows Lilia to clear the camp extremely healthily, but also allows her to use the health regen to duel and force out enemy junglers. Now, Blabber tries to contest the Raptors and loses, also dying in the process. This then allows FlyQuest to also take his red buff. Now, Blabber is dead, and once he respawns, he needs to move to the top side as his bot side was taken over. FlyQuest know this. They leverage the priority from Azir in the mid lane matchup to quickly shove and move with his jungler to invade with Blabber again. Because of the ward that was placed, they know that Blabber is at Wolves, because the ward would spot him if he had gone for Gromp or Blue. They kill him again, and at this point they're 1k gold ahead very early into the game, which would lead to a very comfortable 30-minute win. Going into game 2, Cloud9 adapted, placed a ward in the pixel brush, as well as moving Akali to mid lane, who spotted Ashe crossing over to the top side. In game 3, and now on blue side, they also had a level 1 invade, circumventing wards to go for a late invade, which would end up netting them first blood. Overall, stale and predictable level 1s from C9 probably made them easy to scout, and FlyQuest made good use of that, getting early leads through invading in 2 out of 3 wins, which would ultimately help them book a Worlds ticket.